Let me get to the plugs and notices, which is going to be our new feature. And I this is the only music I have for it right now. But we'll play this, and hopefully it'll last the whole 4 minutes. But I don't know if this fits with the plug-in notices. Maybe I should put that down. Maybe a little bit. We'll get a different one. The Best Resource Center. This is our plugs and notices. This is where you can send in your plugs and your notices. And eventually, I'm going to have right over here, right by the side here, I'm going to have the email set up. Maybe we'll set up a new email for it. But we will have plugs and notices. If you send me, you found some good information or a good source of information, let me know. But mostly it's just plugs that for folks, if you're doing something in your community that you're hoping, to help other folks, or if, your business needs a plug, willing to do that as well to help folks out. I don't know. If McDonald's asks for a plug, I probably won't do it, but just as an example. Meanwhile, a good source I have found for information on the coronavirus is the health.harvard.edu. It's Harvard Health. And we've put the link in the podcast and the YouTube description. There was a couple of things that I read that I did not know. One, the stuff I had said about acetaminophen versus ibuprofen, if you think that you might have coronavirus, still holds from their perspective. Nothing's definitive, but err on the side of caution. If you can avoid ibuprofen and you have coronavirus, or you think you might, do it. Avoid it and use acetaminophen instead. That came out of France. The other thing was how long things stay on surfaces. Maybe tomorrow I'll talk about copper. I've been reading quite a bit about that, and I actually sort of knew some of the copper properties. But even on copper, apparently it stays 4 hours. On steel, it's closer to 10 or 12, I think. Cardboard, you got to wait 24 hours. It can, let me put it this way, it can live up to 24 hours on cardboard. This is an issue because a lot of people are getting deliveries at home. And I noticed yesterday we got a delivery, and the delivery guy was like, "Hey, how's it going?" And I'm like, "Good. We'll just do it through the door here." No gloves, so the idea is if you have gloves, you can open it up. Obviously, be very careful. Don't get it on your clothes. Then leave the package outside for 24 hours, or I guess you could spray it down with something, but it seems like a waste to spray. Or you could just leave it outside for 24 hours to be safe. Also, again, this is one of those things where, I don't know what the researchers in China apparently have found that folks with the blood type A could be more vulnerable to coronavirus. We should all be taking the same precautions anyways, but if you need to convince somebody and they have a blood type A, now that's just a sample size of 2,000 people who had been diagnosed with the COVID-19. A plug also, Erica Barnett, this is coming from Daniel, reporter in Seattle. Her work is at Erica Barnett, Barnett, or on her website at thesis4crank.com. She's reporting on how COVID crisis is impacting the homeless in Seattle. That's from Daniel. Also, this is there is a shortage of masks, and the CDC has basically told nurses, you can wrap a bandana around your face, et cetera, et cetera. Apparently, Cambridge scientists have tested 0.02 micron bacteriophage MS2 particles. That's 5 times smaller than the coronavirus. And compared homemade masks made of different materials to surgical masks. Surgical masks block 89% of particles that are 5 times smaller than the coronavirus. Okay? So this is, don't use this only in terms of relative things. Surgical masks block 89%. Vacuum cleaning bags block 85%. A dish towel, 73%. A t-shirt, 70%. So you can get some value out of homemade masks. And I think, I don't know if we put this up, a link to this, but a tea towel, I guess that's a dish towel, over 70%. A cotton mix, I guess that's a t-shirt in this case, 70%. An antimicrobial pillowcase, 67%. Linen, just above 60%. A pillowcase, an average one, I guess high 50%. Silk, mid 50%. A cotton t-shirt, 100% cotton t-shirt is 50%. And a scarf is under 50%. So I guess a vacuum cleaner bag or a tea towel. This may not be relevant for you right now, but, in a couple of weeks, if we're still all in this situation, which I am suspecting we're going to be, and it's your turn to go to the market and they choose letter A or your date of birth or whatever it is that's going to have us, sort of like our market time, a dish towel, not a bad idea to wrap around your face like a bandana. A bandana, I don't know, but it seems a little thin to me. Maybe a doubled up. More plugs. Sam, my name is Adam. I live in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Wondering if you get the word out about trying to contact elected officials here in Wisconsin, try and shift our election and primary in April to absentee mail-in voting only to keep everyone safe. Everybody should be doing that now. Hopefully, we're going to see some action by Congress about the presidential election, which should encourage states to do it too. Next letter I got. Hi, Sam. I'm a Gen Z progressive. This is, and it says, first off, left is best. I work in an action figure store. We're uncertain about our business model and whether people will still be able to afford this expensive hobby. A shout out would be amazing to expand our customer base and keep us afloat. They have a 1/6 scale Donald Trump that might be fun. It is blackopstoys.com. Blackopstoys.com. And they have a bunch of fantasy figures if you're into that. Also tell John from San Antonio he's a sexy beast. I will. I'm not sure how he'll react to that. This one I am a little bit hesitant to do. It's early in this. Down the road, we may have some problems with it. My Venmo is Danny-Samet. He is a merchandiser and tour manager in the music business. Obviously, COVID-19 has resulted in unprecedented loss of income for music industry as a whole. Artists and bands have merch stores and other revenue streams, but roadies like myself are screwed with no way to generate income. I've started an initiative on my personal Venmo to send per diems to roadies in need. So far, I have provided $25 per diem to over 80 people, $2,000 just raised off of social media. I encourage you to look at my activity on Venmo to know I'm not personally asking for a handout. 100% of the money sent in has gone to crew people in need. The Venmo is Danny, D-A-N-N-Y, Samet, S-A-M-E-T. I have not checked this out. I'm putting it out there. You can check it out. You can make your own determination about it. But down the road, maybe what we'll need is like a GoFundMe. Those can still be fraudulent, but at least there's a little bit more exposure. And I would also recommend it to you, Danny, because those end up getting a little more play. But there it is. People can make their own determination. I will not. I spend more time on the info about COVID than I do these things. But years of gig service and temp workers tons of temp workers and service workers are suffering without pay. Here's a way to build solidarity if you're salaried. Leveler.info. Leveler.info. Leveler, Leveler.info. That's from Eric. And in Austin, the subreddit has folks posting store locations and times of what foods and materials were in stock, so you don't have to make a trip without knowing what's there. Molly writes about her business, Focused Life, LYFE.com. Focused, FOCUSEDLYFE.com. 100% sustainably made organic antimicrobial yoga mats. Good time to pick up yoga. If you send an email to organize.sydney@gmail.com, organize, ORGANISE, .sydney, as in Australia, at gmail.com. Cam is trying to organize people to help old folks there. His grandmother has Alzheimer's, but our left is in tatters, he writes, and much worse than the American left. He's been trying to drum up some energy for a new movement outside the baggage of our Labor Party, et cetera, et cetera. He wanted to go out and grab a beer in Sydney. I would not recommend that. Don't grab a beer. Maybe just do it over email or Zoom or something. Nick sends me an email about Trader Joe's, but he did not send me the link that he was talking about. And letter carriers apparently not getting the equipment they need. If you have the opportunity to see a letter carrier, you can tell them about this information about masks. That might be helpful for them. But really, they need gloves, and they don't have them. And apparently, some people are, taking it upon themselves. But at the processing plant, they're not getting the all the stuff that they need, particularly at the smaller plants. So that's from Zachariah, who's actually in the processing plant a little bit up the road from me. So those are the plugs and notices for March 19th. And like I say, you can send us an email at majorityreporters@gmail.com. Put plugs and notices in the subject line, and I will read it. I have yet to not read any of them that have come in. At one point, I imagine we're going to have to just, cut down. But it's a good way for people to get the word out. And we will cut this as a separate clip, and you can send it around to people.